This is weird and awkward, but I'm Calvin Silmer.
I'm Keaton Gray. I'm Mackenzie Zolodek.
Ew.
I'm Bonnie Brown. I'm Katie Killam. And we are Group 10.
Are we group 10 for real though?
I don't. Hi. Today we will be discussing a certain type of disorder that appears in young children. We will also be showing parents how to deal with this certain disorder. Our disorder is called an expressive language disorder. An expressive language disorder occurs when an individual has a problem expressing him or herself through spoken or written language. This disorder is generally a childhood disorder affecting children from 2 to 7 years old, but may also affect individuals who have experienced trauma of some kind to the brain. There are two types of expressive language disorders, developmental and acquired. There are no known causes for this developmental form of this expressive disorder. Research suggests that in some cases, expressive language disorder is a genetic impairment. The acquired form is usually caused by trauma to the brain, such as a stroke. Expressive language disorder is also associated with known developmental difficulties or impairments, such as Down syndrome, autism, or hearing loss. With an expressive language disorder, an individual doesn't have problems pronouncing a word, but rather physically creating them and putting them in coherent sentences in a timely manner. Children are usually also below the average level in their age in putting words together and sentences together to formulate thoughts, recalling words, and using language appropriate to the variety of settings in different people. A child with an expressive language disorder also usually has a much smaller vocabulary than that of his or her peers. Finally, an expressive language disorder does not affect a child's comprehension of speech, but the production of his or her words. A child often still has the same level of intelligence as a child without an expressive language disorder. This disorder also affects boys, who are 2 to 4 times more likely than girls to possess it. Some treatments for an expressive language disorder are group sessions with a speech pathologist, individual therapy sessions with a speech pathologist, speech pathology sessions combined with home programs that parents can use with their child, and many other forms. Incorporating sign language in the everyday life of a child with an expressive language disorder would be, for instance, when you wake up in the morning, you would sign, "You, hungry, you," which is, "Are you hungry?" Another sign that would be used is, "Do you feel tired?" which is signed like this. You feel tired. You could use signs like this in a child with an expressive language disorder throughout everyday life, like when you wake up in the morning or when you go to bed, as well as before and after meals.
And now I'm going to tell you about some of the pros and cons of using sign language with a child with expressive language disorder. Some of the pros include ASL can give the child a more visual representation. ASL can be a way to express ideas. And some of the cons would be ASL requires a lot of time when learning it. ASL requires both the parents and child involvement, and that could also be a pro, it just depends on how you look at it. And another con would be most children with expressive language disorder usually express the same difficulties with ASL.
Expressive language disorder provides many deficits in communication. According to PsychCentral.com, the linguistic features of the disorder vary depending on its severity and the age of the child. These features include a limited amount of speech, limited range of vocabulary, difficulty acquiring new words, word finding or vocabulary errors, shortened sentences, simplified grammatical structures, limited varieties of grammatical structures, limited varieties of sentence types, omissions of critical parts of the sentence, use of unusual word order, and a slow rate of language development. Like explained before, the child can take in the information. It's just the difficulty presents itself when trying to use spoken language to communicate with the person they're trying to communicate to. This provides a possible inadequate social life for the child. due to the fact that he or she can't hold conversations during play. These children may have a lot to say, but just unable to retrieve the words used for daily conversations.
An option for a game that could be incorporated within education for the disorder expressive language disorder could be used as flashcards. For example, you could have the child color a flashcard and then sign the image that they just colored. For example, cat, fish. Other than games, expressive signs could also be used in everyday life to help with everyday communication. Some of these expressive signs would be sorry, please, thank you, excited, sad, sleepy, hungry, thirsty, read, and good.
This is weird and awkward, but I'm Calvin Silmer.
I'm Keaton Gray. I'm Mackenzie Zolodek.
Ew.
I'm Bonnie Brown.
I'm Katie Killam.
And we're Group 10.
Are we group 10 for real though?